Good evening. I welcome you all to our current affairs session. So this is the day number 1. It will be long sessions rather because the subject is very huge. So many things will be added on day-to-day basis, and we'll try to enhance our knowledge in various aspects with respect to the current affairs. So let me straight away go to the topic here. So today we'll try to see certain things, and slowly we'll be adding so many issues to our subjects here. As I told you here, every day I'll be showing you some of the bits also. I'll be explaining the topic, then I'll show you the possible bits. And later, wherever there is a possibility, we'll go for the analysis of that particular area. Now, see, straight away I'm sharing some document with you. I'll stay on here. Now, so this is the first one I'm showing it to you here. So one of the important social issues we are discussing, that is the toilet for every house. Now, look at this. So what exactly is this? So again, it is considered to be one of the biggest social issues that is present in India. According to so many studies here, including United Nations survey also, so many people in India have the access to mobile phones rather than the access to the toilets. Especially with respect to the providing dignity to the women, it is the responsibility of the government of the day to provide the toilets here. Especially in the rural areas today, most of the areas do not have these toilet facilities. For example, if you remember recently, one very sad incident happened in Dhan, that is in Uttar Pradesh. 2 girls have been hanged to death. Very unfortunate incident, and this happens throughout the country every time. But with respect to these things that are happening in the rural areas, one of the reasons, not the only reason, one of the reasons is that they don't have the proper toilet facilities, so hence they will go for the open toilets, and that is one of the reasons for such type of crimes that is happening. That is the reason, if you remember the recent speech of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, he wanted to start a program, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is a possible question in the examination. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So this is the program to clean the rural India. So this is possible by providing the toilet facilities. And during that time, he was also mentioning something about the corporate social responsibility. What do you mean by corporate social responsibility? If you look at so many corporates in India, these are the very big industries. They are earning so much of money, and after earning so much of money, it is their minimum responsibility to contribute some of the amount for the social issues here. That is the reason there is an organization, non-governmental organization called Sulabh International. Most of you may be aware of these Sulabh toilets that are present across the country in every city. And this is an organization which is providing these toilet facilities, constructing toilets across various parts in the country. Now, that particular Sulabh International has come out with a proposal saying that it is going to construct toilets, and the toilet for every house will be the campaigning program. It's a very welcoming program that is launched by Sulabh International. By taking the motivation from the Prime Minister of India, they have started this. And immediately after that, there is a company called L&T. You must be knowing this, very famous company. And this company also announced that they are also going to construct 5,000 toilets across the nation here. So once these corporates will come and perform their responsibilities with respect to certain aspects here, Obviously, certain social issues will be addressed, especially the biggest problems of these open toilets will be removed here. If that is done within a short period of time, the dream called Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, that will be fulfilled. This is one of the important aspects. Kindly remember here, for any examination point of view, these type of programs may be a question in the examination. Question may be, what is the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan? Who launched it? Which organization has started constructing toilets? On the name of the campaign, Toilet for Every House. And these type of questions may be asked in the examination. That is number one. Number two, whatever we are learning here, it is not just important only for the objective type of examination, but wherever you are writing any subjective type, that is descriptive type of examination, it is very much important to give these answers. These social issues have to be addressed at the earliest. Otherwise, here, when the UN study itself has maintained that India gives more preference to the mobile phones rather than the so-called toilets here. So this is a very shame. This is a very unfortunate thing that is happening in the country. Hence, it is the responsibility of the government, at the same time, also the responsibility of the corporates to provide such facilities. I'll just show you the document here, and after that, I'll also show you what are the possible questions from that area. Look at this. So this is the scheme here I'm talking about, is a toilet for every house. Next, look at this. Sulabh International, it's a non-governmental organization, started a program in Badaun, that is in Uttar Pradesh, where 2 girls were hanged to death. The need of the hour is the women's right to safe toilets. Very important here. So it is the need of the hour. It is the women's right to safe toilets. Look at this. If you look at the present population, it may be 1.2 billion or 1.25 billion. Out of this, so much of population here, only 665 millions have access to the toilets. Look at this. Next point here. Look at this. United Nations study in 2010. It said very clearly, it's a criticism, it's a comment against the Indian system here. That shows the failure of the governments. That shows the failure of the corporates because they have ignored their responsibilities. More people in India have access to mobile phones than to a toilet. It's really a shame. It's really a shame, and the government has to work very hard to remove this particular problem here. See here, this is for our information. This is Sulabh International founder is Bindeshwar Patak. So this is the gentleman who launched this particular Sulabh International long time back. Still continuing. Let's all wish him all the good luck for the successful continuation of this program. Look at this. Recently, the government has announced a program called Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It means Clean India Campaign. Kindly see here. I am highlighting this one. This may be a possible question. This may be a possible question in any of the preliminary examination. But if you are writing civil services examination in the descriptive manner, even then you need to elaborate on this Swachh Bharat. Why this program is important for the nation. Very important as far as the examination is concerned. And also remember, these questions may also be asked in the interview. That's the reason we cannot afford to forget even a single topic. Very important. Now I am going down the screen. Look at this. Possible question here. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan program is to construct. So the questions may be, the options may be like this: roads, house for the poor in the rural areas or in the urban areas, or this is called the toilets. So now you know the answer here. Answer is D. That is the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is a program to construct the toilets. Now see here, let me come back to you. Let me say one thing for all of you with respect to the examination. When I am talking about this examination, one fundamental mistake what most of the students will do is that they will just try to read the information in the form of question and answers. And once we start reading anything in the form of question and answer, maybe for the time being, we may feel that we are reading something in a very, very short period of time. But reading just a question and just answer without understanding the background of that particular subject here, it is very difficult to remember. Number one. Number two, once we don't remember, we also cannot analyze. And when you go to this interview also, if there is a question on this subject, because the student has learnt in the question and answer format, it becomes very difficult for him to recollect the answer and reproduce. That is the reason why most of the students, they will get failed in the main examination and they will also get failed in the interview. This is because of the lack of proper foundation with respect to the background of the subject. So here I will be providing you the complete platform and the complete background, so that what happens, if you look at the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, anywhere in any examination or in future in any newspaper or any magazine, you should be able to remember this. That is what I need. Clear? This is the just beginning of our entire program. So many days are to go, and I wish all of you a very, very great success, and I want you to, all the people, to be there in the highest level of the civil services. And for that reason, having the strong platform and strong foundation is a must. Here I'll be trying to provide you the best possible foundation here. It is not just information but analysis, and you should be also in a position to remember so many things. That is the most important point for me here. Next, I'll just share the document once again with you. I'll show you some more points. Now look at this. This is the question we have already seen. Right. Which of the following organization has initiated the program called Toilet for Every House? So these are the types of the questions that are being asked in various examinations. Answer, you can know it very, very clearly. It is option number 3, that is the Sulabh International. Hopefully I'm clear now. So this is the next topic I am going to pick up. This one is the National Judicial Appointments Commission. Now this is the next topic that I am going to share with you. Hopefully I am clear about the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So kindly see here, whenever you come across with this program now, since we have the idea about this particular program, wherever you come across with this program in any magazine or the newspaper, now you will be in a position to understand. If there is any additional point with respect to this one, in future we'll be trying to add it. Okay, right. And apart from this, kindly make note of this, as you have already experienced that I have been posting some of the questions in our same site here. Kindly answer those questions also. But the advantage of attending the classes is that you are getting the firm background, then you are looking at the questions. Clear? When it comes to the analysis part, so we'll go in a broader manner depending on the situation. Next topic, I am going to talk to you about the National Judicial Appointments Commission. So this is the most probable question in any examination in future. But the concept of NJAC is not at all a new one. Kindly listen to me very carefully. Have the complete concentration and complete focus on whatever I am speaking here. Because whatever I am going to show to you, the points, these are the factual points. And when it comes to the analysis, you will be learning the analysis from me through my lecture here. and which is very important for the examination point of view. Now, when it comes to National Judicial Appointments Commission, it is not at all a new concept. Governments for quite long period of time, they are talking in terms of appointment of the NJAC. What exactly is this? If this NJAC is created, through this NJAC, the judges in the Supreme Court, the judges in the High Court are appointed. Meaning, this is a commission which is going to recommend who should be appointed as the Supreme Court judges, who should be appointed as the High Court judges. Depending on the recommendations given by the NJAC, the judges will be appointed accordingly. But what is this Supreme Court and what is this High Court? You know the judiciary system that is present in India. At the highest level, I have something called Supreme Court. Supreme Court is the apex court, and we give a lot of respect to the Supreme Court. Any case and every case can be challenged before the court. And that institution, the so-called Supreme Court and the High Court, are mentioned in the Constitution of India. And with respect to Supreme Court and High Court, the Constitution makes it very, very clear that all the judges in the Supreme Court and High Court are appointed by the President of India. This is what the Constitution says in reality. But who should be appointed as a Supreme Court judge, who should be appointed as the Chief Justice of India, is not mentioned in the Constitution. That is the reason why, starting from day one in the sense, I am going back to the January 26th, 1950, that is the commencement of Indian Constitution. Starting from that day, for a quite long period of time, who should be appointed as the judges was decided by the government of the day. As we all of know, India is a parliamentary form of government where the president is the nominal executive and the prime minister is the real executive. Every important decision in the country will be taken by the Prime Minister of India, and accordingly it will be accepted by the President, and the President gives his assent, then it will become a reality. This is what is happening. Sorry. So since the beginning, the executive, that is nothing but the cabinet headed by the Prime Minister, they are taking a decision and they are intimating the President of India who should be appointed as the judge or the Chief Justice of India. As we know, today in the Supreme Court I have 31 judges including the Chief Justice of India. And in each High Court, today look at India, we have 24 High Courts in India. And how many judges are present in each High Court? That varies from state to state, that varies from High Court to High Court. Meaning, depending on the necessity, the President will be appointing more judges. Constitution, and now Constitution has provided both the institutions, both Supreme Court and High Court. But with respect to the Supreme Court judges, at present the number is 31 including the CJI. With respect to the High Courts, the number is not fixed. It varies from time to time. Now, let me come back to the appointment of these judges. So whenever you want to appoint the judges in the Supreme Court or High Court, it is done by the President of India under the provisions of the Constitution. But in reality, the decision is taken by the so-called the Prime Minister. Accordingly, he will forward the names to the President of India and the President will be appointing. Meaning, the Prime Minister is considered to be more powerful. But since beginning in Supreme Court, we have seen a provision, we have seen a procedure where the senior most person in the Supreme Court is appointed as the Chief Justice of India. Out of the existing judges, senior most person is appointed as the Chief Justice of India. So that is the tradition that is being followed in India since the beginning. But in the year 1973, when Srimati Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, this particular tradition was broken, and the person who is at number 4 position as far as the seniority is concerned has been appointed as the Chief Justice of India. Obviously, what will happen? The remaining 3 judges who are the senior to the 4th person, they have submitted the resignation as a mark of protest. Obviously, that is the beginning of the conflict between judiciary and the executive with respect to the appointment of the judges. As far as everything is going very smoothly, nothing will happen. But whenever there is a problem, so there is a necessity to look into that very deeply, and accordingly, so you need to come out with a solution. And it continued for a period of time. During the course of years, it has been violated now and then. In the year 1993, then judge in the Supreme Court, Justice J.S. Verma, has given a judgment saying that Justice J.S. Verma, you must be very familiar with this name. Later he became the Chief Justice of India, very known and a renowned gentleman. Last year in 2013 he passed away. When the time permits, I will tell you more points regarding that great man. But in the year 1993, Justice J.S. Verma has given a judgment saying that from now onwards, who should be appointed as the judges will be decided by Supreme Court Collegium. You might have heard this word so many times. That is called Supreme Court Collegium. In fact, the word Supreme Court Collegium is nowhere mentioned in the Constitution. It came into the picture because of the judgment that is given by Justice J.S. Verma. And according to this, there will be 5 senior judges of the Supreme Court, headed by the Chief Justice of India, will recommend the government that who should be appointed as the judges in the both Supreme Court and High Court. And obviously, we know one point: the judgments that are given by the Supreme Court are binding, orders given by the Supreme Court are binding. Hence, since 1993, a practice has been established that the government is appointing, the president is appointing only those persons as the judges in the Supreme Court and High Court, including the Chief Justice of India, only on the recommendation that is made by the Supreme Court Collegium. But is the advice given by the Collegium is binding on the government? Answer is yes. But the government has every right to send back the proposal for reconsideration. But if the Supreme Court Collegium finalizes the list even for the second time, that is expected to be binding on the government. Meaning, starting from the year 1993, even today also, the Supreme Court Collegium is dominating. And if you look at India, India is the only country in the world where the appointment of the judges is recommended by the judges, and that is binding on the government. Meaning, literally, I can say the judges are appointed by the judges. Though the orders are issued by the President of India, in reality, the recommendations that are given by the Supreme Court are binding in nature. This is what is happening since 1993, even today also. Now, the executive, meaning the government of the day, was thinking very seriously for the removal of the collegium system, so that the government will also have its say as far as the appointment of the judges is concerned. Hence, there is a creation of the National Judicial Appointments Commission. Of course, this was under discussion for a quite long period of time. Some people are for the creation of the NJAC and some people are against. When Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, during that time also, a constitutional amendment bill was created and introduced in the parliament. But it was not discussed and not voted. But recently, if you remember, this National Judicial Appointments Commission 121st Constitution Amendment Bill has been introduced, and the bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha. It was passed in the Lok Sabha. As all of you know, every Constitution Amendment Bill must be passed with a special majority. It was passed in the Lok Sabha. Later, it was introduced in the Rajya Sabha. It was also passed in the Rajya Sabha. Meaning, this particular Constitution Amendment Bill will nullify the Collegiium system. Very, very, very important. At the same time, the government also introduced another bill, ordinary bill, for the creation of the National Judicial Appointments Commission. Because it is ordinary bill, if it is passed with a simple majority, that is enough. Both the bills have been passed. Amendment bill was passed with a special majority and ordinary bill was passed with a simple majority. But there is a condition here again. Once it is passed in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, this bill does not go to the President of India directly for his assent. Constitution makes it very, very clear. Whenever you are going for the amendment of the Constitution under Article number 368, if that particular amendment bill talks about the Chapter 4 of Part 5 of the Indian Constitution. Maybe all of you are aware of these particular areas here. Constitution. The Constitution is divided into various parts. I am talking to you about Part 5. Again, in that Part 5, I have Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in the Chapter 4 of Part 5 of Indian Constitution, Supreme Court is mentioned. And the Constitution under Article 368 mentions very, very clearly, whenever you are going to amend the Constitution, and if it is related to Chapter 4 of Part 5, in simple format, if you are going to touch upon the Supreme Court, once the bill is passed in both the houses of the Parliament, it should also be sent to the state legislatures. Kindly see here, whatever I am saying you, that is very much mentioned in the Constitution. That's the reason why within a very short period of time, I cannot see National Judicial Accountable Appointments Commission is going to be created. The bill will be sent to the state legislatures. Out of the existing state legislatures, it should be accepted by at least half the state legislatures. At least half the state legislatures with a simple majority. Then only the president will sign. Then only it will become the act. Then only that is considered to be an amendment. Very, very important. But how far it is going to stand before the Supreme Court, we have to wait and watch. Because any bill, every bill can be challenged before the Supreme Court. And with respect to 121st Constitution Amendment Bill, the criticism is that the Parliament is trying to encroach upon the independence of the judiciary. According to the Supreme Court, independence judiciary is one of the basic features of the Indian Constitution. Petitions have been filed in the Supreme Court against 121st Constitution Amendment Bill, but the Supreme Court said one thing: it is too early to look into this because it is yet to be signed by the President of India. That's the reason we are not very clear. Tomorrow, whether the NJAC will be really created or not. But the process is going on. The process is finished in both the houses of the parliament. Now it goes to the state legislatures. Then it will go to the President of India. Then it will become the act. Then NJAC will be created. But if it is again challenged before the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court feels that this particular bill is violating the independence of the judiciary, then Supreme Court has every right to nullify that particular act. So we have to wait and watch what is going to happen. Now I'll show you the document along with some of the points here. See here, kindly see here, if you kindly look at the time, I told you this is from 9 to 9:30, but this is the minimum time. Kindly please make a note, this is the minimum time I am going to spend with you every day, minimum 30 minutes. Depending on our discussions, let's extend this. Okay, so kindly make yourself free from 9 o'clock onwards. Sometimes I may be stopping at 9:30, 9:35, 9:40, or sometimes it may be 10 o'clock also. Kindly make all the arrangements, right? And of course, whatever I am talking to you now, once the class is over, within 1 hour, this video will be uploaded in our site. Because of any reason, if you have missed any class or any particular point here, so you can open the video. Procedure is same. Open your Gmail account and open our site. Then only that will be opened. And for others, it will be seen as the private. Clear? So now, as many times as you want, you can watch this video. There is no restriction here. But try to attend the classes on regular basis along with me here. If you want to go for the repetition, next day you can go for the repetition on your own. But it is always advisable to be with me live at 9 o'clock. More advantages will be there, right? This is number one. So kindly, so bear with me. So I'm going to share the document with you. Now, look at this. Look at the points which I'm highlighting. The Supreme Court is mentioned in Part 5 of the Indian Constitution, right? See here, in the Part 5, again there is chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in that one there is a chapter called chapter 4. In that chapter 4, articles 124 to 147 are mentioned, and these articles will talk about the Supreme Court. Clear? Now look at this. Next point, Article 124 clause 2. Kindly follow all the points very clearly. Don't be in a hurry. Every judge of the Supreme Court shall be appointed by the President by warrant under his hand and seal after consultation with such of the judges of the Supreme Court and of the High Courts in the states as the President may deem necessary for the purpose, and shall hold office until he attains the age of 65 years. Simple point here. In order to make it very, very simple here, Article 124 clause 2 makes it very, very clear that the judges in the Supreme Court are appointed by the President of India. Simple. And with respect to that one, the President will be consulting with some other judges. And who should be consulted? That will be decided by the so-called the President of India. Fine. So this is number one. Kindly remember this article. Very, 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 very important. Under which article of the Indian Constitution the Supreme Court judges are appointed by the President of India? Remember, it is Article 124 clause 2. See here, in some of the smaller examinations, they may not ask you the clause here. So, but in the higher level examination like civil services or group 1 examinations at the state level, they may ask you the article including the clause. That's the reason. Kindly remember very clearly, remembering the clause is also important. So now I am talking to you about Article 124 clause 2, which talks about the appointment of the judges in the Supreme Court and High Court by the President of India. See here, one more important point I would like to tell you. After the completion of the class, wherever you are, the screen, below that one, there is a dialog box, there is a comment box. And I sincerely request all of you, everyone, kindly, it will be a big favor for me rather, kindly write down your comments. Write down your comments here. Be very frank with your comments, whether it will be really useful or not. Or if you want to something else, kindly mention it. See here, kindly don't mention so many subjects here. This is the very short time we met for the first time. Within a very short period of time, you are going to enhance your knowledge on various other subjects. But with respect to this particular class here, how do you feel? You kindly mention about the subject that has been discussed and kindly mention in the comment box every day. Not one day, please, every day, so that will be useful for me to make certain changes for the betterment. Now I am opening the document here. Look at this. Provided in the case of appointment of a judge other than the Chief Justice, the CJI shall be always consulted. Now look at this. Now I'm talking to you about the what is collegium system and why collegium system. Look at this. Look at these points here. I'm just coming here. Just follow me very carefully. Once you complete this particular collegium system and NJAC, you need not read any other material. Every information is available here. Now look at this. The Supreme Court came into existence on January 28th, 1950. Kindly remember this. Before this, the Supreme Court was called Federal Court of India. And the present day Supreme Court came into existence on January 28th, 1950. Kindly remember these points. In the beginning, there was a practice that senior most judge of the Supreme Court is appointed as a CJI. Look at the screen, please. This was the practice from 1950 up to the year 1973. Now look at this. In the year 1973, by superseding 3 senior judges, at number 1 position, I have somebody called Justice J.M. Shilat, Justice K.S. Hegde, and Justice A.N. Grover. These were the 3 senior judges. And the number 4 position, you have Justice A.N. Ray, who was the 4th in seniority, was appointed as a CJI. Meaning for the first time, a tradition has been violated by then government in the year 1973. Obviously, the 3 senior judges got angry and they have submitted the resignation letter. Very, very, very important. Now look at this next point. Again in the year 1977, then senior most judge, Justice H.R. Khanna, was superseded by M.U. Beg and the later was appointed as a CJI. Look at this. Senior most was H.R. Khanna, but instead of him, M.U. Beg was appointed as the CJI. Obviously, what will happen? He also gets angry. Now look at this. In the year 1981, a 7-judge constitution bench in S.P. Gupta versus Union of India. Kindly see here, for all the people who are writing the civil services examination, I request all of you to remember these cases also. And if you mention this case in the examination, it will be an added advantage and you'll be getting more marks. So in this particular case here, the Supreme Court held that CJI is consulted in the process. Consultation did not mean concurrence. Now what exactly is this? If you look at this 1981, the judgment here, there was an argument. The president under the constitution is always expected to consult the senior judges. But in the year 1981, the Supreme Court has differentiated between consultation and concurrence. Concurrence is a compulsion. Consultation is just like taking some advice. And that advice is not binding. Meaning the 1981 case has given more domination to the government of India. Meaning the power of the Supreme Court has been reduced. Because the Supreme Court itself has defined the difference between consultation and the concurrence. Next, hope you are following this. Very, very important points. Now see here. In the year 1983, look at this. I'm coming to this point now. Just a moment. In the year 1993, the Supreme Court has questioned the discretionary powers of the government. Discretionary power in the sense, government is taking a decision without consulting the Supreme Court, without taking the concurrence of the Supreme Court. Right? In that particular case, the case is called second judge's case, and it ruled that the senior most judge of the Supreme Court alone can be appointed as CJI. Meaning is so simple, it is the direction that is given by the Supreme Court saying that only the senior most judge in the Supreme Court should be appointed as the Chief Justice of India. And kindly remember, what is the case is important, in which year this particular order has been given important. Look at the next point. The Collegium system was created in the year 1993 after Justice J.S. Verma wrote a judgment. Kindly see here, wrote a judgment means delivering a judgment, giving a judgment. Now, what is the Collegium system? Look at this. It comprises of 5 Supreme Court judges, which is headed by the Chief Justice of India, picks the judges, and appointments are ratified by the President. The Collegium also has the right to overrule the objections raised by the President. What do you mean by this? Now, since 1993, I told you already, the Supreme Court Collegium has come into picture. It started giving advice to the government of India with respect to the appointment of those judges, and the judges that are recommended by the Supreme Court are binding on the government of India. If the government has any objection also, it does not make any difference, and the final decision will be always taken by the Supreme Court. That is the power of the so-called the Collegium. Again, I'm coming back to the document. Kindly look at this. What is the, look at this kindly. What is the advantage of the Collegium system? Look at this. It reduced the politicization of the appointment of the judges, and it improved the independence of the judiciary. Otherwise, previously, every time the government of the day is interfering into the appointments, and according to their will and wish, they are appointing the judges. And we have already seen the examples. Next, criticism against the Collegium system. Very, very important here. Kindly see here, when you are preparing especially for the current affairs, what is important is that every system will have both advantages and disadvantages. If you have more advantages, there will be less disadvantages. If you have more disadvantages, there will be less disadvantages. Kindly remember, no system is completely foolproof. Very, very, very important. And especially all the people who are preparing for various examinations here, understanding both advantages and disadvantages is very, very important. Right? At least at the time of writing the examination, or for giving a better answer in the exam, in the interview, it will be really helpful. Is that clear? Advantages and disadvantages, you need to follow that. Now again, I am showing the document here. Now, it lacked the transparency and accountability because the process is a secret. This leads to the nepotism and arbitrary appointments. Look at this particular point here. This Collegium system has lacked the transparency, meaning what things you are taking into account is not known to the people here. The total process is completely secret. Right? Because it is secret, that may lead to the nepotism. Nepotism in the sense you are giving support to your own people. Obviously, if the Collegium, the criticism against the Collegium system is that whenever you are recommending the government for the appointment of the judges, the decision is taken by the small body of 5 judges headed by the CJI. There may be a possibility of the nepotism. They may be recommending the name to the government, and those names may be their own people's names. That is the criticism here. Next, look at this. In August 2014, National Judicial Appointments Commission bill was passed in the Parliament, which provides for setting up of a commission headed by the CJI and having as two members two senior judges of the Supreme Court, the Union Law Minister, and two eminent citizens. Kindly remember this very, very, very clearly. Once this Judicial Appointments Commission is created, in that commission I am going to have 6 members. Very, very important point. And whenever I have the 6 members here, that is headed by one person, and that one gentleman is the Chief Justice of India. Number 1. Apart from the Chief Justice of India, 2 other senior judges of the Supreme Court will also be the members. Kindly remember very clearly possible questions in the examination. Total strength in the NJAC will be 6. 1, the Chief Justice of India. 2 other judges who are the senior judges in the Supreme Court. And there is one more person from the government, and he is the Law Minister. He is the Law Minister, Minister for Law and Justice. And today that is Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. Clear? And of course, these are the 4 members now. And apart from this, 2 more members are the eminent persons. And who are these eminent persons? That will be decided by some other committee over here. Very, very important here. That is the reason why there is one Chief Justice of India who is the chairman of the NJAC, and 2 senior judges from the Supreme Court, and 1 minister called Law Minister from the government. 4 members are over, and 2 other members are the eminent persons. So altogether I have 6 members in the National Judicial Appointments Commission. And this commission, once established, it will be recommending the President of India who should be appointed as the judges. Hopefully you are following this one. Very, very important. Now again I am coming back to the document here. Now, a constitution amendment bill, kindly remember the number. Number may also be important for the examination here. They may ask you through which constitution amendment bill. So there is a proposal for abolishing the Collegium system and introduction of the NJAC. Answer is 121st Amendment Bill. It was passed by the Parliament to scrap the Collegium system. This ends the exclusive authority of the judiciary in the appointment. Right? Now look at this. Public interest litigations were filed in the Supreme Court to nullify the process of amendments as it violates the independence of judiciary. But the apex court said that it is too early to accept the petition. Kindly see here, so many times we'll say the Supreme Court may accept a petition, the Supreme Court may reject a petition, or the Supreme Court may give the advice saying that it is too early to accept the petition, please come at the appropriate time. That's the reason why the decisions are taken by the Supreme Court, and accordingly the others should follow. Now look at this. What happens next? Because the amendment bill has already been passed by both the houses of the Parliament. Look at the statement. It will be forwarded to the state legislatures, and if it is accepted by at least half the states with a simple majority, then President gives his assent. Then only it is considered to be the scrapping the Collegium system. Then only it is considered to be the removal of the Collegium system. Clear? So sometime is still there for abolishing the Collegium system, but kindly remember, even today also the Collegium system is in operation, because abolition of the Collegium system process is still going on. Only Parliament has finished the task. It should go to the state legislatures, then it goes to the President of India, then only the Collegium will be scrapped and NJAC will be created. That NJAC will be recommending the President of India that who should be appointed as the judges in the Supreme Court and High Court. That is a whole story. Kindly see here, whatever the information I have provided, I request all of you to go through the same information again. Clear? Again, maybe at any time, whenever you are free, kindly go through this. Now look at this. I have some questions here. I'll just show you the questions now. After that, we may conclude the class today. This is the first day here. Now look at this. Who of the following judges' writings has created the collegium system? Meaning, who was the judge because of whose judgment the collegium system has been created? Now you know the answer very clearly because now you know the background. Answer will be C, that is Justice J.S. Verma. Kindly look at ABCD here. Remaining all the people were the judges of the judges of the Supreme Court. Of course, later again they have become the Chief Justice of India also. Every person was really eminent person. And if you look at option number B, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan. Right now, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan is the chairman for National Human Rights Commission. Okay, now. But here for our question, the answer is the option number C, that is Justice J.S. Verma. Later he became the CJI, and I told you already last year. So this great man has passed away. Now, look at this. Now look at this. In which of the following years the collegium system was introduced in India? And you know the answer now. It is in 1993. Anything may be a question, my dear close friends, in the examination. Now, right, look at this. If you have the collegium system, simple point. Who of the following is the head of the collegium system in India? A, B, C, D. Kindly find it out. Already I told you, in the collegium system, I have the 5 senior judges, and those 5 senior judges are headed by Chief Justice of India, and the answer is option number B, that is the CJI. Now, look at this. Another question. The collegium recommends for the appointment of the judges to only to the Supreme Court, only to the High Court, both Supreme Court and High Courts, and all the courts in India. What is the answer? You can have a look at very clearly. You know the answer now. The answer is C, that is both Supreme Court and various High Courts. Now see here. So we have another topic here, Japanese encephalitis here. And of course, some more topics also have promised for today, like Prime Minister's Dhan Yojana and the importance of Prime Minister's visit with respect to this Japan, how India is going to be developed with the association of the Japan. So many things are there. We'll have a discussion. But for today, let me stop it here. We have discussed 2 topics and elaborately have discussed with that. And from now onwards, wherever you come across with this NJAC or Swachh Bharat Abhiyan program, so you'll be in a position to understand in a better manner. Fine. And tomorrow we'll meet at the same time at 9 o'clock, and I'll be discussing with you about the Japanese encephalitis, this one, and followed by the Prime Minister's Jan Dhan Yojana and also some other issues. Fine. So today let me stop it here, and thank you for being with me. Kindly have lots of patience. This is the current affairs. It is not just related to a single subject. Various subjects are coming into picture. See here, from social issue we have jumped into the judicial issue here, and tomorrow we are talking about the health issues here, like Japanese encephalitis. So like this, various issues will be coming, meaning at a single point of time, various issues we are trying to learn and we are trying to enhance our knowledge. Right? So this is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning. A long way to go here. We'll continue the journey till you are successful. So that is what my personal wish here. And whatever the doubts you have, kindly mail me. In the site itself, my mail address is there. Kindly keep that only that is the point of contact with me here. You can mail me on any issue and I'll be giving you the replies here. But with respect to the feedback, kindly give the feedback immediately below the speech immediately after this class. So again, thank you so much for being with me. So tomorrow we'll meet again at the same time, 9 o'clock. Till then, I wish you all the very, very best. Good luck and good night. Thank you so much.